Good morning everybody. Full day in Beijing today. Before we go to breakfast though, I'd like to show you something which is outside my window. Well, that was a very nice breakfast. It was a hardcore Chinese breakfast with fried rice and dumplings and these sort of things. No scrambled egg, no fried sausages, no muesli or cornflakes. No, it was Chinese food, but it was actually very nice. I wanted to actually film inside the restaurant, but being one of the last people to arrive, it's now 9 o'clock and they've actually closed the restaurant, it was quite empty and I didn't want to be seen as being a person going around photographing a restaurant. How weird is that? When it's a little more crowded I can get away with it, but when the place is empty, I don't think so. Anyway, you can hear the trains outside. The story of these trains, I don't know what the situation is, but yesterday when I was buying my tickets, or collecting my tickets for the onward journey onto Shanghai and onto Nanning, they have this huge board and it shows you how many seats are left on each train. And I noticed that the trains start at about 6 in the morning and finish at about 11:30 at night. So I thought, let's keep my window open because it was quite warm and humid last night. So 12 o'clock, went to bed, not a peep until 3. Then I don't know what it was, but they must have been doing some kind of shunting or something outside. Every time one of the locomotives moved, it went honk. And then it went on over and over and over again and then stopped promptly at 6. So I thought it'd be nice and romantic to actually have a railway line outside and fall asleep to the gentle rumblings of trains going past, but it's more like a marshalling yard outside. Anyway, I'm going to get ready, I'm going to get out, and I'm going to go to Tiananmen Square, and I want you to come with me. First things first guys, this is not a paid endorsement, but I think if a company does a really good job, they deserve a shout out. A company called China DIY Travel. Now there's lots of companies out there on the internet who claim to do Chinese rail bookings. The whole thing can be a little bit daunting. Now there's a guy named Mark Smith and he does a website called seat61.com. I work in corporate travel and even the guys I work with refer to this website. So he has a really good name, a really good reputation, and he recommends using China DIY Travel. And I thought, well, if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me. So I've booked my Chinese rail through him. I've booked the Beijing to Shanghai, Shanghai Nanning, and Nanning to Hanoi. Now the two Chinese sectors were prepaid and I had to collect these yesterday, which I did, went seamlessly. And the part across the border into Vietnam, that was the bit I was worried about because they were actually issuing the tickets somewhere, I don't know where they're based, and they were posting it to my hotel where I'm staying in Beijing. It was there waiting for me. Everything went absolutely smoothly. So I'd like to give a thumbs up to ChinaDIYTravel.com. This is not a paid endorsement, but there is a link below. If you are going to come to China and use rail, consider these guys. They do a really good job. Now, the metro station, that way. I just took 15 minutes to get into the metro station. Standing in the sun made it feel a lot longer. All Chinese nationals were having their ID cards scanned. Right, here's my train. Well, I finally made it to Tiananmen Square. I thought I'd get here a little bit early, maybe about 10 o'clock in the morning. It still took 25 minutes to get through security. Unlike the last time when I was here, where they just looked at my passport and waved me through, this time they scan everything. ID cards for nationals, passports, the whole lot. 25 minutes in the baking sun to get in, but here we are. Anyway, I'm going to show you some of the sights of Tiananmen Square, then I'm going to show you the world's largest pair of pants. I think I was in the perfect selfie position because I was being jostled from left, right and centre, and school kids were barging in as well. So I got the shots that I needed and I've moved on. Right, I'm going to have a look around Tiananmen Square. I'm going to then head over to the Forbidden City, and then on a separate video I might try and see if I can find some scammers. The lines to get into the Forbidden City look horrendous. As long as I can get to the other side of the road, that's the main thing. I want to have a look at the outside, maybe a part of the perimeter, but I'm not going to go inside because the crowds are just nuts today. It must be school holidays because there's millions of kids here, millions. Right, across the road now. Okay, I'm just in the perimeter of the Forbidden City and I'm going to try a little experiment. Boy, it's hot today. I'm going to try and out-scam some scammers. Once you get in there and it's a little less crowded, that is a prime location to be scammed. I'm male, I'm a foreigner, I'm single, and therefore I'll attract them like bees to honey. And the idea is that these two young girls will come, they'll give you a bit of the old chit-chat, tell you how hot it is, try and build up a friendship, and then suggest you go for a drink. It's a pre-arranged bar. You will be given a few drinks, they will suddenly disappear, and you will have to pick up the tab. Now the tab is usually really highly inflated prices, and if you don't want to pay it, then they get their heavyweights from out the back to come out and persuade you to pay it. So that will be on a separate video. If it is successful, there's a link now, and if it's unsuccessful, if I don't catch any fish, I'll tell you here. Wish me luck. Well, I went back to my hotel. I've had a wash, a change of clothes, and a bit of a rest, because I'll tell you, standing in line at the Beijing Metro station this morning in the sun, and also standing in the sun to get into the Tiananmen Square, really took it out of me. I've also got some sunscreen on as well, which I think is a good idea. Okay, I'm off to look at something I've wanted to see for a long time, the CMG building. This is the CMG building, said to look like the world's largest pair of pants. I read somewhere that the Chinese government is now putting more control on building design in the country because it feels that modern architecture is getting a bit silly. Back at the Chaos, which is Beijing main station, I'm going to have a look at some of the restaurants around here. I'm going to avoid McDonald's, I'm going to avoid KFC, but there's a couple of Chinese ones. I'm going to see what the menus look like. Pork dumplings, absolutely superb. I was watching some of the kids, or I should say some of the kids were watching me inside that restaurant. The adults don't pay much attention to you, but the kids actually stare at you with their mouths open. Because I don't think too many of them, up to about the age of 3 or 4, they haven't seen too many Caucasians before, and they just look at you with their mouths open. And if you wink at them, they actually nearly fall over backwards. Part of the thing is the overwhelming majority of Chinese people have black hair, and as you can tell, my locks are platinum, so that just totally confuses them, and I find it absolutely amazing the reaction you get from the kids. Well, that will do for today. Tomorrow we're off to the Great Wall of China, but we're not going to do it as the tourists do on a tourist bus. Nah, where's the challenge in that? We're going to catch a local train. Now tomorrow is supposed to be more hotter and more humid than today, so it's going to be an absolute killer. I just hope I can get up by 6 o'clock in the morning because I need to get to the Great Wall by 9. That's when the tour buses start to arrive and it becomes really, really crowded. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe, even if you have no intention whatsoever in watching any more of my videos, because I need to get the numbers up, and I'll see you tomorrow.